So I'm in Alitur, which is at 3,800 meters. So I'm really in the center of the high Pamirs at this point. It's beautiful up here. It's cold at night, but during the day it's actually quite nice and pleasant. The sun's very intense, though. I imagine you can burn very quickly here, and just like being outside, the sun is very strong. So yeah, not a lot out here. You know, all the power is solar. Not really running water. Pit toilets. You can get a little bit of internet from the from like Megaphone, the sort of area here. But yeah, other than that, rough, hard beds to sleep on. But our host was really nice, so got a pretty decent sleep. Elevation, still getting a bit of headaches, but the medication seems to be working, so I'm doing okay. They just kind of come and go every once in a while, but now I'm going to do some off-roading, see if I can go see an observatory. Oh, there's a little cat running off. And Murgab is the next stop before Karakol, which will be like the final place. So, see how today goes. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. Got my fuel from a large drum and my water from a bucket. But I think it actually comes from a... Whoops. Don't want to get stuck in the mud here. Comes from a spring up here. So I think the water is actually very good. Haven't had any issues yet, and I don't think there's a store here. So, oop, this is the highway. There we go. All right, on the actual Pamir Highway, heading towards hopefully the abandoned Russian observatory, and then after to Murgab, and then eventually to the highest point, which is the second highest highway in the world, hopefully tomorrow. Alright, and traffic for the first time. For a while there in the Wakhan Valley, there was just no vehicles. But here I think they're being all the supplies by truck all the way from Dushanbe, because the border with Osh is closed, which makes this place a lot harder to get supplies. So I think the life is even harder here. I mean, I'm just amazed that people choose to live here year round. It gets incredibly cold here. They've recorded temperatures of -60 in areas here like at that Lake Balunkul where I was at. So it's a very, very harsh environment, but just so beautiful. These little Japanese minibuses everywhere as transport. They are not designed for roads like this, but yet they use them to get around. Like, you see most of those types of things. I can't imagine what they put them through and just drive them until they're completely dead, which probably doesn't take very long on these roads. This is apparently the turnoff to the road to the to the observatory. So I'm gonna take this track. It's actually pretty chilly out here with the, I guess there's like there isn't right now, but a bit of a cold wind. So I was thinking about putting on more layers, but I think now with the going a little bit slower, it might not be as much of an issue. So I'll see how it goes for a little bit. And yeah, we'll see if we can get there. It's only 25k. Get out there, see how it goes.
I think I can see the observatory up there. Huh. That's pretty cool. I can imagine you could see a lot out here. You know, like 4,000 meters. No light sources for, I don't know, hundreds of kilometers. So the observatory's up there, and this must have been the little town-like thing for the people who worked at the observatory, I imagine. Well, I'm gonna have to explore this a bit too. Oh, look at these old vehicles. Oh, so cool. Alright, up we go. Ooh, steep guy. Wow. Feels like the top of the world.
So I'm at the Shorbulak Observatory at 4,300 meters. It's quite windy up here, as you may be able to hear, but it's pretty cool. It's an abandoned Soviet observatory from like back in the day, and there's a little town down there as well, with like I guess where people lived here, because it's kind of in the middle of the nowhere. But it must have been an amazing place to observe the stars, because there's, you know, no light for a long way from here. So I'll see if the drone can fly here with this wind. Hopefully I don't lose it. Let's see how that goes. So, just down from the observatory, which is up there, and a little bit sheltered in this valley, is this town that's been abandoned. Well, I don't know if I would call it a town. It's probably like 10 buildings or so, but they've kind of just left everything. You can see, like, say, this old Soviet truck that they have, and you can even open it up, and kind of incredibly preserved. You can still, like, the seats are still there, and so I think this just kind of goes through summers and winters out here. And the buildings still have glass in the windows. They're all boarded up, but they have all sorts of interesting things inside, like some kind of giant engine in this one. I don't know if you can see it. And yeah, just all these like relics left behind. Check this out. This what looks like the main building. I think of this place, I don't know if it was like cafeteria or fooding. It still has clean curtains in the windows. I mean, it practically looks like it's still being used. I'm actually kind of freaked out that like some kind of Soviet ghost is gonna chase me off from here or something. Oh man. Let's see, a table inside. I mean, it's all locked up, but That's spooky. I mean, there's just nobody here. Like I'm like 25 kilometers away from even a road, let alone for any other city or town. So, but yeah, this place is kind of spooky. I mean, it's amazing, but it's just kind of, being alone here is just kind of a little bit freaky. More of these abandoned vehicles. You can see with like some of the tires still on them. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, not exactly in operating condition, but looks like just kind of left here. Is that a jacket? Weird ass scarecrow. Ugh. This place is starting to give me the heaves. So now comes a tricky decision point, because I'm kind of 25 kilometers off the road here, and my paper map says that the road kind of continues that direction to past the crater and then to Morgab. My digital maps all disagree and don't have this route, so it's whether to take the risk of like going down that path and seeing if I'm going in the right direction. It's 3 o'clock, so I've got 3 hours before darkness. I'm not that far away from Morgab if I had to backtrack. So I guess I could go for about an hour, and if I kind of don't find it, then I still have time to backtrack and get to the town. So maybe give it a shot for a little bit, see how it goes, and then see where we get to.